I'm John Elder Robison. I'm the author of Look Me in the Eye, which is a book about my growing up as kind of a misfit and going out in the world and making my way. I have a mild form of autism called Asperger's syndrome. I decided in 2006 that I would write a book to tell that story, and Look Me in the Eye was the result. It went on sale in September 2007. You ask about misconceptions about Asperger's. The biggest misconception is that Asperger's is a hidden disability in many young people. A person with Asperger's often has a significant impairment in social skills, the ability to read body language and sense what many people know instinctively about others. And yet, at the same time, kids with Asperger's can have extraordinary language capabilities and remarkable abilities with mathematics. So a teacher can find herself talking to a child who's 12, and he has the command of language of a college professor, and he's interested in learning about calculus, and he does something that seems totally stupid and off the wall with another kid, and the teacher says, "Why do you do that? Don't you know better? You should know better." And her opinion of what the kid ought to do is based on his language and math abilities. She doesn't realize that he might have the social skills of a 4-year-old. And that is indeed kind of a curse of Asperger's, because those of us that have that kind of imbalance can look so skilled and yet be so weak in key areas, and people don't know that. My hope is that by spreading understanding of conditions like Asperger's, and we need to understand not just Asperger's, but ADHD and all manner of other kids that we diagnose young people with today. I'd like to see more empathy and tolerance in the world. I'd like to see less name calling, and I'd like to see less sense of us and them. I hope that people will look at films like Billy the Kid, and they'll recognize that deep down, all of us are really the same. I hope that people will see Billy, and whatever the viewers may be, that they will look at him and they'll say, you know, I struggle just like him, and I do see myself in that. I think that's a very important thing. I think the importance of the film is that it shows people who may be removed from high school that school can be a really tough place. And one of the things that makes school tough is the lack of compassion and understanding, both on the part of grown-ups and on the part of kids. And I think that if people take that message away and they act more compassionately in their own lives, that's a wonderful thing for the makers of the film to have achieved. People sometimes ask if I could take a pill and make Asperger's go away, would I do it? Asperger's is, at its heart, an imbalance of intelligence. There are parts of my brain, like social skills, that are not very smart, but they are offset by parts like my creative skills in electronics and my logical reasoning that are very smart indeed. If I took a pill and took the Asperger's away, I'd be flat. There would be no book. I wouldn't be here talking to you because I wouldn't be bright and creative. I think that I have to accept the lows as well as the highs if I want those creative gifts. I can say that there's really no telling how much a young person's brain will change and develop over the course of his life. If you look at all the different careers that I've had and the things that I've done, even up to changing from being an automobile dealer to being a book author at age 50, my own life clearly shows that our brains keep changing and evolving. I was a smart kid when I was a teenager, but I was a pretty impaired kid in many ways too. I couldn't pass school, I couldn't make friends, I couldn't do many of the things that a psychologist would consider part of everyday functioning. And yet, as an adult, I managed to do all that and more. So one thing that I would say to parents and young people is to never lose hope. Watching Billy courting Heather in the movie was kind of interesting because in the movie, the scenes cut from Billy to Heather, and because it went back and forth, I could see when things would go wrong and Billy would make mistakes. But you know, I think that the filmmaker's art is what brought that out to me, not my great social skills. And I wouldn't be surprised if I were in Billy's shoes if I didn't have the very same outcome today, if there weren't a camera there to save me and show me both sides of the story.